If you've been here with me before, you know that we're not done moving today. We're going to do a little bit more moving. But here's the deal. I am, in fact, Dan, and it is so much fun to be with the Elementary Eagles every single year. If you were here with me last year, let me see your little hands. Go hands. Yes, 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 yes. I like what's happening. That means that you're already experts and you know what is coming next week. But before we get into that, I want to tell you a little story, and it's a story that you've probably heard a number of times, but it's one that I like, especially when we think, I'm going to trip on these, and it's going to be hysterical. I'm going to back up one. It's a story that you've heard a number of times, but it's one that I really enjoy when I think about what we're going to do next week. So one day, Jesus was teaching, and it was such a good message that there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming. In fact, the scripture says that there were 5,000 men alone. So that didn't even count the women and the children. And he's going for it, and he's just in it. He's feeling it. And so he's going for a really, 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 really long time. And all of a sudden, his friends, the disciples, they come up to him, and they're like, hey, Jesus, you've been at this for quite a while, and it's kind of past lunchtime, and people seem very, very hungry. And I don't know what to do because there's no In-N-Out, there's no Subway, there's no Taco Bell, there's no McDonald's, there's no Carl's Jr. There is nothing close by us, Jesus. I don't know what to do. And Jesus said, no problem. Why are you so worried about it? Here's what I want you to do. So he told his buddies, he told the disciples, I want you to go out into the crowd and I want you to ask them if anybody has food. And so they go out. The 12 of them go out. They, hey, do you have anything? 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 And ultimately, they find only one person who has food. Now, I don't know if that means that he was the only one who was ready to share his food or if he was literally the only one who had food. But there was one person. Does anybody know the age of the person? What were they? Were they an adult? No. It was a child. Nailed it from the audience. It was a child. A little child was the only one that had food. He had 5 fishes, 2 loaves. He had some fish tacos, fishes and loaves. He says, I've got some fish tacos that I brought with me. Maybe I could share those. And so the disciples bring it back, and they bring over the food to Jesus, and they go, kind of a problem here, JC. What we've got here is just a couple fish tacos, and that's not nearly sufficient for the thousands of people that we have. And Jesus goes, I also don't think that this is a problem. They're like, it totally is a problem. He's like, I don't think it's a problem. He goes, here's what we're going to do. He goes, I'm going to pray over these pieces of food, and then you're going to take all these baskets, and you're going to go hand out all of this food. And they're like, all of this food is still just a couple fish sticks and some tortillas. Like, that's what we've got here. And he's like, no, don't worry. So Jesus does exactly that. He prays for it. He prays over the food, and then he sends them out. And the disciples go through the entire crowd, and they hand out, and every time they reach into the basket, there is more. Every time they reach into the basket, there's what? Every single time they reach in, there's more. And in fact, by the time that they're done, they hand out food to everybody, and everybody's eating. They're like, these are tremendous fish tacos. These might be the best fish tacos I've ever had. Eat your heart out, Baja. They're just like going after it. And when it's all done, Jesus goes, go and collect the leftovers. And they're like, we started with next to nothing. There can't be leftovers. And they walk out and they collect enough leftovers to fill 12 baskets worth of food. Now, again, you've probably heard this story so many times, but there's a few things inside the story that I think are really, really special and really, really fun, especially for students like you. Number 1, of all the thousands of people that were there to hear Jesus, it was one child who, number 1, came prepared to stay. He packed a lunch. He's like, I'm going to go hear Jesus, and I don't want to leave when I get there. He came prepared to stay. He wasn't just there to check it out. This little child wasn't just there to visit for a little bit and be like, all right, sweet, I got to go. He came prepared to stay. And when the time came, he was willing to share everything that he had brought to share them with the others. Even though he knew, he's looking in his lunch bag, he's like, this is not going to be enough to make a difference, but I will trust Jesus with everything I've got. And so he came prepared and he was ready to share, and it changed everything. And his little story, his little life, his little gift made it into scriptures. And here we are 2,000 years later talking about a child who was prepared to follow Jesus, to stay at his feet, to continue to trust him, and shared everything he had, trusting that Jesus could do something miraculous with it. And I love that part of the story. I think it's an amazing part of the story. The other part of the story that I love is the idea that it's one of the only miracles that Jesus himself, while he's present, he didn't perform it. He allowed his disciples to be the ones who performed it. He allowed his friends, the people who trusted Jesus, he allowed them to be the ones who performed miracles. See, all Jesus did was he prayed over the food. And then he gave them the baskets and he said, now you go do the miracle. Now you go feed the thousands. Jesus could have easily done the entire thing. He could have prayed for it and he'd be like, all right, form a big line. I'm going to hand all this out, so that the story is that Jesus feeds the multitudes. But it was the disciples who fed the multitudes. It was his followers and those who loved him, which means that that's an opportunity that every single one of us has, is to go and be a miracle in the lives of someone else. When we trust the Lord, when we lean in, when we know that he is praying on our behalf and we're trusting and leaning into him, we can actually go be a miracle in someone else's life. And that's what we're going to do next week. So next week, we are going to come together in that gym right behind us, and we are going to pack some meals. Nearly 30,000 meals next week we are going to pack together. That is like feeding the multitudes. It's an opportunity to get together around this thing and put together meals that are going to feed thousands and thousands of children. The meals that you pack are going to go to Ecuador. And in Ecuador, we have 45 different communities that kids around the world is working in. And this food that you're going to pack tomorrow actually gets handed directly to their moms, to their dads, to their grandparents, so that when they sit around the table, they're sure that they have a healthy and nutritious meal to eat. How many of you already had something to eat today? How many of you already had something to eat today? I believe that the ones who don't have your hands up, you're probably fibbing to me right now. Every single one of us had something to eat today. But in the world, 1 in 8 people have nothing to eat each day. And so if I had a line of 8 people and then I said, everybody else in the world line up behind them, everybody behind one would not get to eat today. And tomorrow we'd line up again, and one of those lines wouldn't get to eat. And so we're going to change that. Next week, we're going to tell 30,000 people in that line, hey, you get to eat today. And those 30,000 are going to be children just like you, who simply want to learn and want to grow and want to follow Christ. And it's really hard to do all those things when your stomach is empty day after day after day. And so you're going to make a huge change in these kids' lives. But now it's time to talk about the 4 ingredients that go into those meals. And to do that, I'm going to need 4 helpers. Now, I'm going to ask a strange question. It may not happen, but I'm going to give some preferential treatment. I know the Bible says don't do favoritism, but I'm about to. I'm now wearing braces. I'm not a big fan of them. Is there anybody here who has braces on right now? If you have braces, get on stage. Yes, get up here, brace fans. Fellow brace faces, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, let me see them. There they are for reals. Yes, let me see yours. Braces, good. Yeah. You're hiding your braces from me. Do you actually have braces? There they are. All right, braces. Yes. See, here are mine. See? I have clear ones on top. Never mind. Sorry, we were having a brace symposium up here. That's not what's important. All right, have you done this before? Do you know the different ingredients? You do? Okay, here's what we're going to do. 2 right here. 2 right here. 2, I'm going to help you 2, and then you're going to be solo. You and I are going to do ours together, okay? We're going to do ours together. Okay. There are 4 ingredients that go inside of this meal. And with every one of these ingredients, we're not only going to say them, but we're going to do a little body stuff. We're going to move around a little bit, get you wound up so that your teachers have to deal with you after this. The first ingredient, who knows what the first ingredient is? Who knows? What is it? No, that's the last ingredient. It's the first ingredient. Yes, the first ingredient is?
Vitamin.
That's right. The first ingredient is vitamins. And so vitamins are amazing because they give us all this nutrition that helps our brain grow and develop. And so when we say vitamins, we're going to go like this. Vitamins. That's like that. So the first ingredient is?
Vitamin.
Nope. The first ingredient is?
Vitamin.
That's not a lot of hands in the air. The first ingredient is?
Vitamin.
Now we're talking. The second ingredient. Okay, the second ingredient is clearly the most delicious, the one that children enjoy the very most. Who in the audience, what is the second ingredient? Yeah, the second ingredient is?
Vegetables.
That's right, and that's what we do. So, I want to see it. The first ingredient is?
Vitamin.
And then the second ingredient is?
Vegetables.
I need you to say it like this. It needs to be more like vegetables, like that. Okay. First ingredient is?
Vitamin.
The second ingredient is?
Vegetables.
Yes. Now the third ingredient is important for our muscles. It helps our muscles to grow. And that third ingredient is? They're beans, and they're called lentils. They're beans, and it's a protein. So we're going to say protein, but it's a protein. Protein makes our muscles strong, so we're going to say protein. We're going to flex our muscles. Yeah, no, we're going to do it. Trust me, I'll be with you. So it makes our muscles grow, so I need to see all of your muscles. So the third ingredient is protein. The third ingredient is? Okay, here we go. Let's start from the beginning. First ingredient is?
Vitamin.
Second ingredient is?
Vegetables.
The third ingredient is?
Protein.
There we go. All right. And our last ingredient is one where you go crazy. It gives us all of the energy that we need. It's rice. It's rice. Now here's the deal. Have you done this? All right, let's start from the beginning. Here we go. Let's get loud because we only have like 3 more minutes. And then I've got to send you back to your teachers, and I need you like at a level 12 out of 10 so that they have to deal with this. Here we go. Ingredient number 1 is?
Vitamin.
Ingredient number 2 is?
Vegetables.
Ingredient number 3 is?
Protein. Ow.
And ingredient number 4 is? That was pretty good. This side of the room didn't move nearly as much as everybody else, so we're going to try it one final time, then I'm going to pray us out, and then I'm going to see you next week when we do this. So, ingredient number 1 is?
Vitamin.
Ingredient number 2 is?
Vegetables.
Ingredient number 3 is?
Protein.
Here we go. And ingredient number 4 is? And you're done. Amazing job, Tiny Eagles. Give them a round of applause. Fellow Brace Face, good job. So, next week, we are going to come together, and we're going to be over in that gym. Remember, there's some videos that your teachers are going to show you if they haven't shown you yet that remind you of how to pack these meals. We're also going to get to color and decorate boxes. And here's the last piece for the parents out there. I saw some of your moves. It was impressive. Some of you were going a little bit slow. I think there's more out there for you. So here's the deal. If you want to volunteer and be a part of that food packing event next week, check out the Eagle Eye. There's a link in there that's going to allow you to come in and serve alongside your student. And so we hope that we will see you. I'm excited to see all of you there next week. Are you ready to go? All right, let me pray you out real quick, and then I will send you on your way. Pray with me. Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for these young disciples Lord, I pray that they would have a life that is similar to the child in our story today, a child who is prepared to sit at the feet of Jesus, to stay there, and shared when the time came, gave everything that he had and trusted Jesus to do with it whatever he needed to. Lord, let all of us be similar, and let all of us get the opportunity to be a miracle in someone else's life, because you create those opportunities for us every single day where we may not change the world, but we could change somebody's world by a small act of kindness, by opening a door, by being polite, by letting someone else play in our game that otherwise we wouldn't. Lord, you let us be a part of miracle making. And so let us see those things today as we step in to the rest of our school day. We love you. We trust you. And everybody said, there we go. Have a great day, everybody.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK-12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening, and stay tuned for more.